It's the conclusion video of Crypto Lulu and I's conversation about regulation, CBDCs, ETHgate, and the Blackrock Bitcoin ETF. What we think is going to happen in the space for all of these different subjects, guys. If you found value and you like this conversation, I will link part 1 and part 2 of Crypto Lulu's and I's discussion. Please feel free to go show him some love. I will link his YouTube down in the description. If you haven't found his channel yet, he's a great man. He puts a lot of time and effort. He loves his community. He's really one of the best people I know in this space. So go show him some love on his channel. If you found value in this channel, if you like the content I put out, we're on our way to 9,000 subscribers. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for all of your comments, all of your love. I check everything every day. I spend hours in the comments responding to each one that I can, as well as removing scammers from them. So without further ado, let's start the show. I hope you enjoy, guys. Part 1 and part 2 will be linked down in the description if you missed it. See you in the next one. Thank you. What do you think about the USA? Are we screwed with regulation, or have you been paying attention to the digital asset subcommittees and things like that? Are you in tune with that, or do you just block that stuff out on this side of the pond?
I'm not so in tune with it, but I do hear everything that's going on, just because of everyone's tagging me on stuff. I do struggle with the idea of how the US is going to catch up.
Yeah.
At some point, there's like a first to go type thing situation here. So let's say the US is going along like this. The UK is already like on its ascent, but it takes a certain amount of time to be like that before you can start your ascent. And at some point, you both catch up. Let's say 10 years down the line, you both have the same thing going. But it does interest me, the idea of like a competitive market between countries. So having the UK or Switzerland or just general Europe being on board and regulating crypto. And it's taken quite a while to do that without an SEC thing looming overhead.
True.
Like, it's taken us a while to do that, and we haven't had any pressures. So how long will it take for the US to catch up? That's I guess the big question. I also think that if there is a situation where the US just catches up all of a sudden, I think it's only because of external technology that's come up, like interoperability. And then all they have to do is figure out the legal integration with the different countries. And that's the only thing they have to figure out, rather than let's figure out how the technology operates. I think that gets done and they get brought up to speed.
Yeah.
Almost, the thought I had in my mind there was when you go onto a website and there's like you get legal templates.
Yeah.
You can just fill in different parts.
Yeah.
The US doing that, where like the whole thing's done now because they've seen it happen with the UK, Europe and everything. And they just go, okay, let's copy and paste that. Let's change the spelling on it because we spell things differently. And then they just fill in the blanks. And that brings them up to speed super quick.
Yeah.
I think interoperability does that more than anything.
I think the US is mainly how the US works is like they move very slowly until they absolutely need the thing, and then it happens very quickly. And the thought process with that, the problem with that whole process is that you're rushing, right? You're getting to the end of where you need to have something well written, thought out. Academics come in and just you need to work with everybody. But what you have is, now you have such a partisan country, which our country is. You have the Democrats and you have the Republicans, and a lot of time they're not working together on stuff, and they're working against each other. And so you're seeing this very pro-Republican push for crypto regulation, and then you're seeing the Democrats saying, hey, wait a second, crypto's still bad, we don't want to. And so you really do have more of a Republican push here. And I think Republicans see it as 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 adult Americans own crypto. And people usually end up voting either with their conscience or with their wallets, right? And so they're going after that group of people. And I sit in that group of people. And I'd say I lean more to the left and more to the right at this time and place. But I'm looking at the right thinking like, hey, my fortunes might be better if I go this way. What am I going to do? And so it's going to be interesting to see. I hope it's not a Biden and Trump rematch. I think the whole world needs some new blood in the office. But CBDCs launching globally. What are your thoughts? We just had the Colombian news from Ripple, another pilot, the EHKD in Hong Kong. They're tokenizing real estate there as well with that Ripple pilot there. I mean, things feel like they're heating up globally for not just Ripple, but CBDCs in general. What are your thoughts? When do we get a total global, everybody's on a CBDC? Is that 2025 or is that 2030 in your mind?
2030.
2030?
I think we start seeing the ball rolling for retail CBDCs in 2027, and it concludes in 2030. And that's not me just guessing. There's actual timelines out there.
Yeah.
Stuff. And they all come around that time period. So the wholesale CBDC will be in place before the retail.
Yep.
Then the retail starts in 2027, like in a big way, because you might get the, what do they call it here, Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
Or you might get these individual ones sprouting up, but when we're like, everyone's got a CBDC, and also everyone's got a CBDC but doesn't really know it.
Yeah.
That's 2027 to 2030, in my opinion.
BlackRock.
From what I read.
Yeah, I mean, I think their timelines are great and they're meant to be a kind of stepping stone to try to get something, but something could happen, cyber attack or something. I feel like we're pushing towards a major cyber attack where things get shut down and then they rush in a new system. It does feel like that. Aliens is also brewing. You've seen a lot more talk about that in the news. And then you're also seeing the cyber attack stuff, right? Because the US was just hit with a cyber attack last week. And I do think they're going to try to blitz us with something here sooner or later. And they're going to say, hey, we have to do this or all the systems won't come back online. But BlackRock and Fidelity ETFs, what do you think? BlackRock is, I think they're 575 to 1 on getting an ETF approved with the SEC. That is, I mean, what do you think, man? You think they're going to get that thing approved? They got a good record.
I loved reading that. I learned that in the last couple of weeks, their approval rate.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it going any other, statistically, it basically would go any other way. It's interesting that one though. Do you know much about the one?
I don't. Break it down.
No, I don't know.
Oh, I was like, oh.
I'd like to learn about that to see what the extenuating circumstances were with that one versus the rest. Because there must have been something in there that they didn't get their way.
Yeah.
But I played golf, high-level golf, and I know what the percentage game is. And so just looking at the percentage chances of things happening, I mean, it seems like it's going in their favor.
Yeah, it doesn't it? I think they're going to get that approved. I think Bitcoin can definitely pick up the whole market if it starts to run again. And I think we'll see 100K Bitcoin here in the next maybe 6 to 18 months, depending on how the rest of the market wants to cooperate. But if these ETFs go through, I think it's going to be pretty good for Bitcoin. Last thing before, I know we only have about 4 minutes left here. Ethereum Gate. William Hinman. I know I saw a video and you don't love Bill Hinman. You didn't love talking about it in the video, but do you have any thoughts now that kind of this whole Prometheus thing happened and that we have the 64 emails and the 52 drafts and we can see that there was definitely bias and there's 15 million reasons why to have some bias? What are your thoughts?
I think I was slightly disappointed that there wasn't as much pushback like in the emails. I also think the SEC aren't as bad as I thought. And my reason for thinking that is because it looked like Bill Hinman acted alone, like spontaneously out of his own interest. And that's quite harsh to paint a brush across the whole of SEC when that's in play. Also, but on the counter side of that, it's like you should have been harder about that because of your role in the market. Like you really do make an impact. You essentially have the power that shouldn't be used, but you have the power to control who wins and who doesn't. So you should be very careful with the wording and like make sure that the people who are speaking about that stuff are like solid on the plan. But he seemed to act alone. And I wonder, okay, why has he acted alone? You have to always ask why. Who's basically, my first thought is because we're looking through the lens of corruption. I'm thinking he's been paid to say something like that, to give that free pass. And then in the recent days, you can see the whole Hinman family. Yeah, they do this thing abroad and they're all involved with Ethereum and he seems to have had significant personal bias. Even without looking at the emails, you can see he's got significant personal bias towards Ethereum. And so to me overall, it seemed like spontaneous personal intent speech. Gotcha. Like he was getting something personally out of giving it the all clear. Despite people resisting, although I feel not resisting enough. But overall, I mean, I did a poll on this the other day because you remember Brad Garlinghouse said, you'll be shocked about what's going to happen. And I did the poll and it was like 86% of people weren't shocked. And so, I don't know, like the corruption felt as if it was going to be bigger.
Got it. Yeah.
It just seemed to me like a personal act of spontaneity.
Also, you have to look at where Brad Garlinghouse is sitting too, right? Because he was also sued with Chris Larson. I think that was the SEC's biggest mistake, because when you actually sue a person, you actually have to provide all of their conduct that proves. You actually have to go out and prove that now, instead of it being the other way around, where you're just trying to bring charges and see what happens, right? So the burden of debt, or not the burden of debt, the burden of proof is on the SEC to do that. I think that's where they've really failed. And I think it was very personal to Brad. And I think he's very shocked. I think we've seen so much scandalous stuff now being in crypto for so many years. I think we're a little bit tainted on like what our definition of outrageous or shocking would be. But I do think there was some misguided things that he said, and he definitely got paid $15 million. He was meeting with Vitalik, and it seems like his kid was giving him pressure to do something too. All right, man. Hey, we got less than a minute. I really appreciate you jumping on, man. I know it's late for you there, and I know you got to get did you want to say anything before we close out here?
The only thing I want to say is congrats on the growth. I know you put a lot of work in on the back end there. I'm more than happy to be here and support, and whatever your future endeavors are, I'll be part of it. You do a great job, and I think people are in good hands with you.
I appreciate that, Lewis. That means a lot, man. And hey, the extension is always here. If you ever want to come visit Honolulu, I'll bring you some cool hiking trails. We'll get some good meals, and we'll have some good times, man. All right. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening, and I wish you and your family the best. And I'll see you. Maybe we'll see you next time when we have a better outcome of what's going to happen with the Ripple case. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it. We are wrapped. Part 1 and Part 2 is also out. If you missed Part 1 and Part 2, please go back and watch my conversation with Crypto Lulu. I want to thank Crypto Lulu for his time. I know he works really hard in the space, and his time is very valuable. So a big shout out to him. If you're not subscribed on his channel, please go show him some love. I will link his channel down in the description of this video if you missed it. Also, if you like content, if you like our conversation, if you want more of this, please think about becoming a subscriber. We're on our way to 9,000 subscribers. What a crazy 6 months this has been. Thank you for all your support. I read every single comment. I get back to every single comment, and I delete those fuckers who are trying to scam you in the comment section. I delete all of them, and I ban all of them every single day. I spend 2 to 3 hours doing it to protect you. You are my top priority. If you need help in the crypto space and you need help learning, think about joining Cryptonaires. The link is down in the description. Cryptonaires has been live for over 2.5 years. We have a great, solid base of community. We have a great team who can help you take your knowledge from a 2, 3, or 4 to an 8, 9, or 10. That's all we do all the time is crypto, crypto, crypto. We do have some TradeFi stuff in there, NFT stuff in there, TA stuff in there. We have so much content. It's going to make your head spin, and we will really help you on your crypto journey. Without further ado, I will let you go. I will see you in the next video. I look forward to growing with you in this crypto space. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Bye.